Currently with Mike, we're going to look at another catamaran, a Seawind. And now this is the best value new cat in Australia, but I'm not going to do any more talking. Mike is a gun at talking about these yachts. Mike, take it away. Who is this boat for?
Rightio. Yeah, so Seawind, we've been around for 40 plus years, manufacturing originally in Australia. Now we manufacture in Vietnam and also in Turkey. Right here we've got our 1160XL. So the 1160, originally we were building in Australia 20 years ago, and this is the latest evolution of it. It's a fantastic entry-level 39-foot catamaran. It's a performance cruising boat, so it's our typical buyer is sort of a husband and wife team or families doing coastal cruising or possibly a little bit further, and someone that's looking for a little bit of performance. So you've got your bigger charter cats, much more displacement, much more fuller in size. These are a little bit more slender, but the difference is you can sail early. You know, people talk about performance and what's your top end speed. This boat, you know, when you talk about performance, it's not about top end speed. It's when can you start sailing. You know, that's really important. 5 knots of breeze, you're off your sailing. Great pointing angles as well. On Seawind, all of our Seawinds, you can sail comfortably 38 degrees apparent wind angle.
Wow,
you know,
nice.
if you know what you're doing, you can dial it down a little bit, take it down to 34, 35. So yeah, let's go and take a look.
Let's go have a look, yes.
So with all of our Seawinds, we've got a dual helm setup, and we do that because we're very much focused on safety. When you've got your helm in this position, so if I'm helming, I can see everybody inside the boat that I've invited on board. They're all part of the same group. If I'm doing a an overnight passage, maybe one person's on the drop-down bed there. That table drops down as a night watch bed, and then the other person's here. You're within earshot. You know, very easy to communicate. It gives you the added benefit of also you've got the visibility all the way around.
Yep.
There's no steps to trip or fall on like a flybridge, you know, coming down. But the most important part is we're completely protected.
Yes.
As you know, Aussie sun, it's relentless.
Yes.
So you've got a lot of protection, weather protection, and these boats, I mean, you can go through the heavy weather and you've got, you know, water pumping right over the deck and you're completely protected and safe. So when you've got a transom mounted helm, you don't have that. When you've got a flybridge helm, you've got a much higher position that you're moving around. So you're very much centered in the boat.
Lovely little setup here too, Mike, with the barbecue.
Absolutely, yeah. We've been using this barbecue for 20 plus years. Absolutely awesome barbecue. And obviously as an Aussie brand, central to the boat. Okay. The other big feature we've got here is that's our door. So that door comes down. It's our famous trifold door that folds out 3 ways. But for most people, you know, if you're in the right climate, that stays up for weeks at a time and you get this really open space. So for a 39-foot boat, there isn't anything where you have that same big entertainment space going from cockpit to interior.
Lovely. Shall we walk
Let's
through
jump down here. Now, when we have the space here, we put the galley down. In a 39-foot boat, to get a galley this size is really hard. A lot of the guys want to put a galley up, and what you end up getting is a half a galley and half a seating area. We say, let's go for a really nice seating area. As you saw, it goes nicely through into the cockpit space, and here you have a really nice big galley.
Nice,
it's safe. You can lock yourself in rough weather. You can see the horizon. You've got good ventilation, and it's really nice and open up into the saloon area here as well.
And that's your fridge.
Freezer here.
Freezer, yeah. Oh, fridge here.
Fridge here. And
fan too, I like the fan.
Fans, yeah.
Open the window, it's got plenty of,
And we can do an induction cooktop and electric oven if we want to.
Yep.
You need to go to the lithium batteries for that setup, but that's okay. That's something we can absolutely do.
Yep.
Down here we've got, this is the guest cabin. So we've got an owner's port side. We're in the starboard side. Guest cabin with their own ensuite. Very nice. And typically for a lot of people, you know, it's the couple that are sailing. Guests are coming on board. Sometimes got kids down the back.
Yep.
And we can do the drop-down table for an extra berth if needed. But a lot of people is, you know, it's 2 people sailing with the occasional guest coming.
Yep. And so
now, when you look at some of this, you know, this is something that we do, I think, better than some of the competitors. We're making these in Vietnam, right? So we've got this beautiful handcrafted joinery that we can do. You know, we're not doing mass-produced flat pack,
Yep.
all glued on plastic edges, all that sort of stuff. You know.
Oh yeah, nice.
It's
setup
beautiful,
there.
sycamore joinery throughout the whole boat, and that's it throughout our whole range.
And another.
Yeah,
guest
so we've got a
room
guest
there.
cabin down the back.
Yeah.
Again, ventilation.
Lovely fan
side
too.
hatches,
Lovely.
Yep.
Open the windows. Great.
Yep. Let's jump up. No, so we're on the owner's cabin this
Captain's
side. So we've got this boat's been
nice.
fairly lightly spec'd, but it's a nice working space if needed.
Yep.
We can do full joinery up here. This boat's been kept fairly light. Nice. They want to sail and get the performance out of it. Great. As you come through, we've got our owner's cabin through here. So in the XL
fans.
compared to the older model, much more headroom, nice and high.
Well, you'd be 6 foot, wouldn't you, Mike?
Oh,
Like me.
on a good day.
In heels.
Yeah. No, but we've got 6'3" head height in the forward cabin, which is excellent.
Yep.
I know obviously in boat show mode, but there's it's deep storage there. I can't reach it.
Yep. Plenty. Yep. Right up the. Yep. Back there. Yep.
And then you've also got plenty of storage underneath. Again, you've got this beautiful joinery. Lots of
Nice.
storage everywhere.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And as you said, you're not too close from an edge if it does get a bit rough. Not that you're going to be on a lean, but
Exactly.
It's,
Yeah. No, what are
And the heads here for the.
our design philosophy is all about making sure we've got practical, safe solutions everywhere. So handrails, ergonomics, we really focus on all of that stuff so that you know when you're going offshore, you've got something to hold on to at all times. Again, heaps of storage. We've got full master vault gear here. This boat's got lithium batteries.
Yep. Lithium, are they in a sort of their own storage if in case there was a fire for people concerned about lithium?
Lithium's they're under the seats here.
Yep.
We're actually just shifting that around a little bit as the regulations are changing, so we're going to be putting those into a different locker in the future. The reality is there's a bit of a stigma about lithium, and people don't really understand that there's the lithium ion type batteries that we install on boats. They're installed in the factory by qualified, skilled electricians that are working to a specification. That is a totally different situation to people doing their own retrofit installation, or the problem with the lithium fires that you hear is actually they're not the lithium iron phosphate. They're a different form of lithium battery. So a lot of the fires that you see out there are actually, it's a handheld lithium device that's being charged inside a boat, like a e-scooter or something.
Right.
That, like the majority of boat fires are started by loose devices that are being charged.
Yeah.
Because those batteries, even on cars, for example, the lithium batteries they use, the reason why they can charge so fast is because it's a much more volatile type of lithium.
Right.
This is a different chemistry, so it doesn't charge quite as fast, but it's therefore not so volatile, much safer. Yeah.
Can we have a look up on the deck? Let's go and have a look on the deck.
Let's go. One of the nice features on this boat, and I'll just put this across, we've got the charging cable here. Really nice setup is that you've got good access.
To get onto a pontoon.
So that works really well. Just always trying to improve things on all of our models.
And there's not much of a jump down there. It's pretty good.
No. All of our running rigging comes back to the cockpit, right? So in any kind of heavy weather situation, you're at the helm, you don't need to get out of the cockpit.
Yep.
And again, going back to safety, we've normally got 2 people very often sailing the boat, and you can be safe knowing that you don't have to get out of the boat. Really, really important. On this new model, the 1160XL, big flat decks. We've brought this whole deck up and flattened it out compared to its predecessor. Much safer for access walking around. And as normal with Seawind, we've got a self-tacking jib. Now it's small things, but I mean our self-tacking jib has got a curved track, right? A lot of boats, custom build, some of the other semi-production boats, they'll have a straight track. And when you've got a straight track and you're trying to do something through an arc, it means it doesn't self-tack by itself.
Yeah.
It's not really a self-tacker. You've got to ease it out and bring it in. So it's all about making sure you do those small features to make life easy. So when you've got self-tacking jib, you've got your main sheet track over the top, very easy.
All out of the way.
Very easy to single handle the boat, going through a tack, you just turn the wheel.
And plenty of solar there too, and it could probably add more solar if you're doing a bigger trip.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how much solar has that got at the moment?
That has 2 times 165. Sorry, I haven't got it there on the smaller panels, I believe.
Yeah, but there's
And then
still
it's
plenty
got
of room where you could have solar, isn't there?
Exactly.
You
And
could
it's
go
got-
more there if you
it's got
wanted to.
2 350s, I think. So, yeah, so we're up, nearly a kilowatt on there, but you've got the ability to go through up to about 14 or 15 thousand watts. Yeah.
And you can step up. You've got the steps there to go up to the...
Exactly, and you'll see you've got, you know, handrails everywhere, right?
Yeah,
so you can hold here,
Yep.
nice and safe. You can get up and access. Now, another thing on all of our boats that we make sure we can do is you need to be able to access that headboard. Now, I know earlier on you said I was 6 foot, but for this demonstration, I'm actually quite short. I'm 5'7", 5'8", but I can reach it, right? So that's important. You get a lot of boats where you're up here and you're trying to do something on the thing, and now it's dead flat. Imagine bouncing around and you've got something wrong with your 2 to 1 that you need to sort out. So
take a fall.
That's
and then
important. So nice low access. All right, wind's picking up.
And the price again, Mike?
So the base
moment?
price, landed here in Aussie dollars $8.99. Yeah. So the actual base price is for 40,000 USD, ex-works Vietnam. So then you're going to spec that up, and typically you're going to put about 150K of options on top of that.
Yeah.
Yep,
lovely.
Last thing I'll show you,
Yep.
which is a little bit unique to us here, is we've got the outboards. So
50 horsepower on both sides.
Exactly. So we have twin 25s as standard. This boat's upgraded to twin 50s. Obviously, yes, you've got a bit more boat speed. You can do I think we were up at sort of 10 knots the other day when we were trialing these, which is great. But it's probably more about, you know, single engine, motor cruising, and, you know, you get good fuel economy when you're doing that. The beauty of the outboards is that when you're up like this, you've got zero drag, right? And when we're sailing on this boat, I mean, a boat of this size, getting rid of the propellers, the lift you get from sailing is awesome. We sailed against a 44-foot performance boat that a lot of people would know, and we're a 39-foot boat, and we beat it over the line in a race, and with 1/3 of the price.
And what's the draft on it too?
The draft on this is 0.78, I think it is.
So nothing. You can be going up rivers and tributaries
And then just going through those things with the outboard, finishing up, is no drag. You've got lower entry costs. They're cheaper than an inboard diesel. Easier maintenance. You can get these serviced everywhere. In the end of life, if you need to switch them out, you can do that more cheaply than an inboard, certainly. And also the lack of corrosion. When you've got stuff in the boat, you've got that sort of ability for corrosion to happen, galvanic corrosion, whereas you're completely out of the water. So there's a lot of plus points. So we do the 25s and the 50s, but if people want to, they can get inboard diesels in the boat as well.
Lovely.
All right.
Mike, that was a fantastic overview. Thank you for your time.
Welcome. Thank you.